Hey, what's going on? I hope you guys are having a great Wednesday. I don't know why I decided to release a podcast on Wednesdays. It's just something that kind of ended up happening. But this is my first podcast recorded post op. So I've still got my compression on. I got my drains out. Everything's good. Everything went well. Thank you for the prayers if it came from any of you. Um, but man, yeah, what's kind of been on my heart for the last little bit here while I've been recovering, forcibly taking it easy. Man, and honestly, I could sit here and lie and say that every waking second of every day I've grinded my face off, before and after. I'd be lying. And what's really been on my heart is kind of, that the time for rest is over. I've had a season here in my life where I haven't been working as hard as I know I need to. I haven't been working as hard as I know I should be. And things have still been progressing. Like we've still been signing clients. I've got an office now. Like the bank accounts are growing, which is awesome. I'm building the team out and I'm able to pay them well. And so things are going really well on a lot of fronts. Like my relationships are going pretty well. Everyone that I've tried to nurture, everything has been going well. But all that to say is, no matter no matter how well all that's going, I still haven't been doing what I know I need to and what I know I should be. And the message that I've felt has been on my heart for a while, not just during this time of forced recovery or forced rest, has been that the time for rest is over. And that, I was given I was given a second to breathe. There was a lot of stuff that kind of all came crashing down at once and things got really hectic for a season. And that was health issues with people I know. That was multiple business things all happening at the same time. Some businesses closing, some new ones starting, new clients, issues with old clients, a bunch of stuff. Just everything's all came crashing down kind of at the same time. And I felt like at the time it was something that I love working through problems and I love dealing with issues and having a bunch of stuff happen where it's like I'm not bored. I'm busy all the time. I'm able to take the talents and the skills that I've been blessed with and use them and not have to sit on my hands and wait for an opportunity to use them or look for an opportunity to use them. It rather comes to me. And so during that time, I was for, maybe one evening, I felt really, really overwhelmed and I just prayed like, man, can I get a break here? Can I get a second? And I felt like I was given a second to breathe. I was given time to say, yep, take a breath and then let's go. And what happened was during that time where I took that breath, I fell asleep. I took a nap. Like I've talked about in my podcast before, I was given an inch and I took a mile. And what happened there was, I became comfortable. I don't know why I'm saying so much. There's a guy that I really don't like that does that. And I think in trying to be so opposite to him, I've actually kind of come full circle and I started emulating it. But that's neither here nor there for this. But what happened was I became too comfortable. And the way I've felt recently is that there's an energy shift coming. Maybe it's a spiritual energy shift. Maybe it's just people are sick of whatever's going on right now. And that's bleeding through to everything else. But what I feel like is there's an energy shift happening and it's meant to kind of kick me in the ass and to get me moving again. And if I know I'm not the only one who feels like this because I've seen a number of people close to my age, a number of people, very far from my age. There's the again, man. God dang, I got to get rid of that vocal tick. But what I'm seeing is there's a lot of people who are uncomfortable and or who have been comfortable who are now starting to make themselves uncomfortable. And I'm not sure if it's for the same reasons, and it doesn't necessarily have to be. Doesn't need to be. There's no reason for it to be. But I feel like there's a shift, and that shift is hitting me pretty hard to the point where I'm not able to really sleep at night. I feel I feel odd just sitting down watching something on TV. I have this nagging voice in the back of my head, much worse than it's ever been, saying, "Really, dude? Like, you're comfortable right now? Like, there's too much to do. There's too much to do to sit and watch Netflix. There's too much to do to sit and scroll social media and to rot right now." And a little sidebar to that, I don't feel like social media has been worth watching lately. I don't feel like there's been really anything that I've seen that I thought, you know what, that was actually worth watching. As on on short form platforms anyway. YouTube, I've seen some cool stuff. I watched a documentary on cigars and the cigar industry, and I watched some videos on wine and some things like that where it's longer form. It's not as interesting as far as immediate reward goes, but it's interesting as far as the information that you're going to get out of it. And you can become a more interesting person in conversation afterwards. But I've just felt like this energy shift coupled with, I don't know if it is, but it feels like God kicking me in the ass saying, like, all right, bro, I gave you some rest. I gave you what you asked for. But now you gotta continue the plan. You gotta keep working. You can't just sit on your hands now. You've been blessed with too much to do this little. And that's another theme that I've kind of been dealing with for some time now where I know that I've been given so many blessings and I've been squandering them. And for like there's no reason. There's absolutely no reason for me to have done that. And so for me that has been an increasingly difficult thing as well where I know I've got so much to give, so much, so many skills, so many ideas, so many great things that I could build and do, but I just haven't. And I don't have an excuse, and nor will I try and come up with one. But it's something that I've had to sit with for quite a while to not come to terms with, but to really internalize and try and figure out a way around and try and figure out a plan to hopefully utilize more of those skills. And in doing that, I've found some things that, I've there it is again, man. God damn. God damn. But for me, I've felt for a long time is that I was a connector. I've been a builder, a connector. And one thing that I've tried to do recently with that is to reconnect family. I've got a pretty splintered off family for reasons we won't go into today. I'll go into it sometime for sure. It's really interesting, actually. But my family's pretty splintered off. And what I've felt like was part of my duty here on this earth is to bring them together. And what I've been trying to do is just try to communicate with more of my family more frequently. Just send off a quick text, say what's up, make them a coffee if they're in the area, and bring it to them. Just little things like that where you let them know that you're thinking about them. And you let them know that, hey, just because we don't talk all the time, just because we're not close, just because this, that, the next thing came up and, maybe we had a scuffle or we exchanged words that weren't so pleasant at some point. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I think a lot of people are so in their own heads that when it comes to family or friends or people you want to see and you want to be around and you want to build relationships with, you've thought yourself out of the reality of making it happen. You've thought so long and so hard about, oh, well, they looked at me this way in this scenario, so it actually isn't going to work out because they actually hate me. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody's like, they're not thinking about you that much, man. And if they are, chances are it's probably somewhat positive and in passing. And so trying to rebuild all these kind of splintered off relationships and kind of frayed. They're basically, it's like a frayed rope right now. And you got to try and wind it back together into a pattern that remains strong and that is strong enough to be worth weathering a storm or be worth bringing on a boat to hopefully weather a storm if it comes up. Because right now it's something that I don't need to sit here and dump family trauma on you guys. That'd be hilarious though. Just sit here for an hour talking about shit. No, but I don't know. It's something that's been on my heart to try and rebuild. And in the spirit of that, I've been trying to just send those messages. That's what I'm trying to say. Basically, just take the small action that you can today towards the big goal. And if the big goal is scary, like for me, bringing my family back together, they fucking hate each other, dude. It was like probably 5 years ago at a birthday party. Two people just started beefing and they started screaming at each other, and the family has not gotten together since. And literally, like, the two people aren't even really part of the family. Like they are, but like they weren't. They are, but they aren't. And it's just such a strange thing to me where you can let a petty beef separate one of God's greatest blessings. And you sit there and claim that, you're a Christian because you go to church. It's like, no, no, you're not. No, you're not. There's too many people that sit here and claim that they're this or that they are a certain way because they do one action. You're not an entrepreneur because you registered a business number. No, no. You're not a cowboy because you have a hat. You're not a mechanic because you have wrenches. It's not it. It takes more than that to truly earn and be able to represent the title. And so I guess what I want to encourage you with is basically if you feel that shift of energy as well, if you feel like, hey, something in me is just uneasy, I can't rest, something needs to be done, take some action. And if you don't know where to start and take an action, pray. And if you're not religious or you don't believe or whatever you want to say, choose a goal. Choose whatever goal you want. And if you don't have any goals, make one up. Make one up that you think, oh, that'd be cool if I ever did that. And then take this tiniest possible step towards that goal. And keep taking steps until you feel like, okay, I'm fulfilling this energy shift. I'm fulfilling what I need to be doing in this moment. Because Lord knows for me, this is going to be a very, what I anticipate to be a very strenuous season. A season where I don't get much sleep. A season where I don't enjoy many things. Um, but it's also going to be a season where I'm brought closer to my limits and I'm brought closer to God. So, in all that, I know it's a lot of religious stuff today. That wasn't the intention, just kind of how it came out. But yeah, I hope that encourages you. Hopefully, if you're feeling this energy shift too, or you're feeling some unrest or some unease, that hopefully this gives you at least a jumping off point to start thinking about it a little different. But on that note, that's where I'm going to leave you. Thank you guys for watching. God bless.